So hello there, this is Srivas Gaurasetti and you are watching my channel. So in the previous video of data structures and design of analysis of algorithms, we have discussed about what is a priori analysis and what is a posteriori analysis. So in this video, we will check out what are the characteristics of an algorithm. See, it is basic things but are important to know. We will further proceed with very kind of heavy and complex concepts, but I promise that whatever the concepts are there, I would try to explain in a very easy way for you. Teaching is anyone stuff, but explaining it in a very simple and layman standard is what the real job lies. So I promise that I will do that for you. Okay, so characteristics of an algorithm. An algorithm has several characteristics, and here we are discussing few and important one. So what are those? Every algorithm may or may not have inputs. Few programs for which we are designing an algorithm possess some inputs, means they have their own inputs, automated ones. Few have no inputs at all, that is no need to give an input, and few have to be given input by manual, that is we are giving inputs. Okay, so the condition is that may or might not be present for an algorithm, that is it can be either 0 or it can be anything, any inputs, multiple inputs. Whereas coming to an output, for a problem we are solving and designing an algorithm, we want a solution, right? We are writing an algorithm means we want a particular solution. So what is solution then? Output itself, right? So for every algorithm it is mandatory to have at least one output or multiple outputs also. I hope it is clear what is input and what is output and what are the conditions. See, definiteness. So what is this definiteness? Defining the things in a precise manner. So what we are defining here, the steps in algorithm that we are using, and every statement in algorithm that we are mentioning must have a meaning in it. There should be nothing like useless statements, and everything should have a good meaning and should be very much helpful in making a code for a particular program, right? So defining a precise meaning for every statement is what you need to know before going to design an algorithm, right? So this is done, this is done, this is done. Finiteness. So what is finiteness? Obviously any algorithm or any program we write is never infinite. It would terminate after some number of steps. In algorithm also, for whatever program we are designing, after n number of steps also it would terminate. There is nothing like it will go on and it will make a biggest drag. No, nothing like that. It would terminate after some number of steps. So the steps must be finite as well as precise in meaning. Means everything should be connected. So what is effectiveness? Effectiveness in sense, we are having some resources when designing an algorithm, or while we are coding up we use several variables of various data types or anything like that. So using the things only required, not using excess number of things or declaring them in the program or algorithm, is a very good practice. That is, using the limited resources effectively is saving the memory, as well as in programming part the memory would be in bytes, right, and the time consumed would be also reduced. So to design an algorithm effectively, you must use the resources that are available in a very effective manner. For suppose sum of two numbers, if you are taking 10 variables, what is the use there? You might take only only 3 variables or 2 variables also enough, right? So that is the basic part that you should know right now, because after this you would be completely like going on designing algorithms. So these steps if you keep in mind, it would be very useful for you. Now the next thing is that let's understand these characteristics with one small example. One small example is enough to clarify what are the things I want to convey you. So I hope that the people who are watching this video might be students, Yes, anyone who is watching educational content is a student itself. I am a student itself. So we are something like referring things when it is necessary, or else keep that case aside. We are checking here. We are the students and preparing for an examination a day before, or the night before the examination. We are in that batch only. So I do the same things, we all do the same things. So how can we understand that practical life example with this characteristics of an algorithm? Input, you will take one book as input, or else many many friends would be around you who will give you several inputs, or who will feed you with a lot kind of concepts which are required for the examination. You will carry all the concepts to the examination and you will present the paper, and your result might be your output for you, but for me writing the examination is the output. That is, you can relate, right? You take all the inputs from your friends, various materials or everything, and you go to examination and you present your paper. That's all. Output is not the result today. Output is writing the paper. That's all. In my case, you can assume as a result today also. Both are similar, okay? And definiteness. So what you would read on the exam day or before the night of the exam day? Obviously, the things and the concepts that are present in your curriculum or syllabus, right? And you will again fetch some important topics from it, again you will underline it, again you will trim that, again you will read in such a way that you know that tomorrow's what is the question paper, and you go in a way that are the 3 questions that I am going to attempt and I will get full marks, because I have a clear cut idea of whatever the concepts I have learned, because I have trimmed everything and I am precise of what the point is going to be asked in examination and what I am going to present, right? This happens with us. And next thing is finiteness. Until what time would you read? Most probably till the last moment before the exam starts. After that nobody reads, you should go and write. So there is a termination of reading the things. At that stage it gets terminated. Now what is effectiveness? What are the resources that you used to make yourself understandable easy? Your friends, books, PDFs, or any kind of help of teachers. Okay, nobody takes help of teacher at last moment. Maybe various kinds of websites like WSD Schools, Geeks for Geeks, like that. Okay. So this effective usage of all these things gives you a solid output. Obviously you can correct, right? So this is how you can understand the things of algorithms, especially with practical life examples. Now coming to the second thing that I want to say, pseudocode. Pseudocode is similar to an algorithm, but it is a way of expressing an algorithm. We write some steps and simple English level statements, right? So why to use pseudocode? This is the question that you should get. See, there are many kind of programming languages, and every programming language has many kind of syntaxes. To get syntax independent, we are designing an algorithm. That is the basic point. And to express an algorithm, we are using pseudocode. So with the help of these steps, which doesn't need any kind of syntax, this pseudocode doesn't need any kind of syntax, whereas programming languages need all kind of syntaxes to execute. Just for understanding ourselves and making understand others, to make understand others, we are using this pseudocode. This is independent of syntax, right? So how to write a pseudocode? This is the main point that you should look at. Capitalize key commands. Every time you write it, see, this is not very much important, but for a proper and a very good way of proceeding is understanding this pseudocode, okay? Capitalize key commands. So what are these key commands? For suppose, if in programming part we write as this one, right? If A is greater than B, we will check for condition. The code would be somewhere present between. But in pseudocode, these key commands, or else you can say keywords, we represent it with a capitalized words. Okay. one statement per line. And the another point is that you write a pseudocode, you mention it as a step, or it is not at all required, but mention it as step 1, step 2, step 3. You write one line or else one statement per one line. That is, for suppose you are printing one thing in one line, okay, again you are printing another thing in another line. That shows the difference, that which thing is happening first, which thing is happening next, okay. So that is also very good practice. So third thing is that using indentation or indentation, people say like that. Indentation in sense, see, if in programming languages we use like this, but in algorithm time also we use some loops to make ourselves understood as well as people. For that we use loops and if statements or decision making statements. For that, if you maintain a proper indentation, what happens after this? No need of syntax, but indentation is important to have a good knowledge and good idea. See, a clumsy design is always not appreciable, whereas a neat design is always appreciated and understandable. Maintain a healthy code, for that maintain a healthy algorithm, okay. And be specific, keep simple. Be specific of what you are doing. If your code is of sum of two numbers, you are designing algorithm for it, only design for that, don't go beyond that, or else don't go whatever the things are unnecessary, don't do at all. And keep simple. Sum of two numbers you can implement in n number of ways, okay. Means you have your own way of implementing the things, but the primary thing is that logic is same, and the way you keep it simple is something like it is understandable by you, as well as at the time of explaining others also it is quite understandable for them also. Means if you apply a very advanced complex way of sum of two numbers program, and that is algorithm, it would be very hard for the people who are reading it. So first of all, you make it simple. I'm not saying don't go for advanced level, you should go for advanced level, but keep it simple as possible, that everyone, a layman, can understand, that's all, right. So this is the thing of pseudocode and how we can write it. Now flowchart, this is the topic that I have learned in my first year of the BTech. So flowchart is a 3D representation or else a graphical representation of an algorithm, okay, that is the point. And we are having some symbols. With the help of flowchart you can understand this concept of algorithms more effectively. That's true, because obviously a diagrammatic part gives more knowledge than a theoretical part. While seeing one diagram you can analyze yourselves what other things are happening there. So these are some symbols that are used in flowchart of a particular algorithm. So we represent this oval shape with start and stop. So this indicates where the algorithm has started, and if this is present at the end of the flowchart, it means the stage is at stop stage and the algorithm is terminated. This parallelogram is used to read the input and display the output, whereas this rectangular box, okay, this you can consider as a square box also, is represents the process or the steps that are happening in the algorithm, or else you can say logic that is happening in the algorithm. So these arrows represents the flow control. Flow control means if this is the first step, what is the next step that is proceeded? Obviously the next step that we get should be connected, right, somewhere related. When we are representing it in a graphical node, then you should have something to represent what is happening next. So these arrows represent that thing. So this is the important one that you should need to know. A diamond shape is used to represent a decision making statement. So what is the decision making statements? Obviously when we are learning this programming part as well as the algorithms for designing these programs, we will deal with a lot of if conditions as well as switch statements, for loops, while loops of anything. Those all are called as decision making statements. So this diamond shaped symbol is used for representing all of those. And at last, a circle shape is used for representing connector. Connector in sense, if lot of codes, for suppose a switch statement has several cases and several cases give only one output. So all these things are connected through arrows through this single connector, and this single connector is giving one particular display of the resultant output. So what we are going to get. Okay, so this is all about characteristics of algorithm, pseudocode as well as flowchart. I hope this video is useful and do share it with your friends. Until then, take care and bye.